to the Friendly Geordies podcast. Unfortunately, no friendly this time.
Sans Jordan.
But we do have someone that will fill in those shoes just as much and a little bit more.
He's smarter even.
We've got, what do we call you? Mr. Mitchell? Is that?
I do. I think when I signed up, it was Mr. Mitchell's history, and Jordan gave me a shout out. Very kindly gave me a shout out. But he was like, mate, you got to drop. It was just way too much of a mouthful. Drop it to something a bit more punchy.
That was on his advice.
So it was his advice. I took it and I went to Mr. M history. But really, it's just a giraffe. And then I ended up ditching the giraffe anyway. So
yeah.
Dude, you're killing it. That shout out was well deserved. And of course, ever since you've been doing pretty good on your thing, and you're getting some success.
Oh, thank you very much. I was saying to the guys off air, like, this is really surreal for me. So I've been listening to the Friendly Geordies podcast for about 6 years now. Even to see Ali do the clap in the flesh is incredible. I always forgot to talk. I'm just like waiting for Miss Love to talking about beef tallow or something like that.
Wait for it.
I'm across the law.
It's coming.
I made chili con carne yesterday, so I can talk about fat. If we digress, I have that.
How about we keep it for a little bit later?
He said the magic words. No,
So
for sure.
Mr. Mitchell, thank you for coming on this
thanks for having
podcast.
me.
Yeah,
for those of you that don't know Mr. Mitchell, you should check out his YouTube channel, and you also do a podcast yourself. The links will be in the description, so make sure you check it out. But let's start. Cam, can I call you Cam?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Cam,
right.
first of all, you have a very interesting story because very recently you were was a high school teacher.
High school teacher, yeah. So, and left at the end of last year.
Right.
Wow. So wait, why did you get into teaching in the first place? Like, what made you do that?
Yeah, well, so originally I wanted to be a cop. And so I started studying at Western Sydney.
Are you from Sydney?
Yeah, from Sydney, yeah, from Shire. Engadine. So we're on the map now.
Hey.
It's weird. Whenever that's where my local, so it's where I go to get my big breakfast. There's always someone taking a selfie at the front of Engadine Macca's to be like,
Yeah, it is legendary.
It is, yeah. It's just my local now.
But it's also in a particular location that doesn't have that many Maccas and everything. So it is a very convenient spot
That's
for people.
true.
And it's on the right side of the highway. So I live in trust that no one's going to fight on my house lease, but I live in Heathcote, so it's just that one down, but it's not on the right side of the road.
Hey, that's kind of close to where I used to live.
Was it?
Until look, it's on the same road. Heathcote, you just
fair
go
enough.
a little bit further.
Heathcote Road, yeah.
Yeah. But it's technically not southwest, right?
No one knows.
Southeast.
Yeah, because we're technically in the Shire, but even I grew up on I grew up production Cronulla, and Cronulla was very much once you get past Gymea, you're pretty much out of the Shire at that point.
Right.
So
when you were growing up, were you political or you didn't care as much?
no, I mean the Cronulla riots happened at I was playing PS2. And glass bottles were smashing outside, and Mum my mum was like, "You can play PS2 all day." I'm like, why do people riot? Because I thought it was like a parade. I'm like, why do people riot every day if I get to play PS2?
Oh my god! I remember it too. I was in high school.
Were you aware of the political? Because he's younger than us.
Yeah.
So were you aware of what the
27,
politics is at all?
I got into stop the boats, I reckon, but that was very much just Tony Abbott was just a meme in my friendship group. I'm trying to think. I remember feeling really sad that Kevin Rudd got knifed by Julia. That was
Wait, so would you say you tilted towards Labour Party then? Or?
No, definitely tilted towards Liberal, based off absolutely nothing.
Because that area is a liberal.
Oh yeah,
because I grew up in the North Shore and it's the same. It's a liberal.
Yeah,
stronghold.
totally.
Labor's not really a thing.
Yeah, so I live in Hughes, and for the first time since 1996, I think it was, we've gone Labor.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and then Cook, which is ScoMo's one. I think it's the 70s or something was the last time. I think Gough Whitlam was when they were last.
That's crazy.
Labor. So
That was a long time ago.
yeah.
But it is counting.
So
Well, I think it's about to switch.
well, yeah, that's the thing. Is for Simon Kennedy, the way things are going, Labor could actually take Cook next time, which would just be insane.
Oh, so they didn't take it last time?
They got Hughes, but they didn't get Cook.
Sorry.
So Cook's ScoMo's one, and then Hughes was Craig Kelly's one.
But Cook would be a watershed moment in
That would be
Australian
huge.
history.
That would be absolutely massive.
Damn.
That would be crazy. Do you think that can happen?
Depends. I don't know if the way Susan Lee's going. If they keep losing ground, so what they need to get 4% to flip it. Susan Lee's already lost 2. I know post-election hiatus, it's pretty difficult to gain ground at that point, but it's only 2% to go from here. So if she's already lost 2%, you only need 2% of Cook voters to flip. Right. And just with demographic shifting of people leaving school And
Don't you think they've bottomed out though? Like how much more can they slip?
I don't know. It's a good question.
More.
Yeah.
They could probably slip more.
In Cook, like, I know a lot of people that will never turn regardless. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I know last I spoke to Jordan, he was like very much of the belief that
let's just say Jordan is an extremely optimistic man when it comes to Labour Party's politics. Like if you ask him, he thinks like the entire country is about to go Labour.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like the Palestine issue was a free hit for the Liberals just to shut up. Like they don't have to endorse the two-state solution or anything, but just the popular sentiment is just so not on the side of Israel right now. But I felt
actually we were speaking about this just before you came, and I actually want to get your opinion on this. Like, I understand that the popular sentiment is definitely not for Australia. And certainly for Liberal Party members, that would be the case as well. But do you think this would be a political win for Albo? Do you think the negative consequences of this outweigh the positive?
it depends.
Because, like, keep in mind that, like, the act of recognizing Palestine will do very little to the status quo of what the situation. I mean, like, what can we really do?
Symbolic.
I mean, it's symbolic. So the symbolic value of it, do you think like it outweighs the negative?
The only thought I had was with shifting demographics for the next election, you get like no one in Gen Z is Israel like that. Like, even at school of just like no. But and then I guess boomers would be even like. I saw it like America. It was like boomer support for Israel has gone to like 40% or something like that.
It's changing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I think like in the Democrat boomers are close to 70%. And I think Republican ones are like they're nearing 40 to 50, which is
so
ridiculous. But if you, boomers are 30, but if you combine Gen Z and Gen Y and Gen X of Republicans, then it goes to like 45 to 50%.
Wow. I mean, I could not have predicted what happened in the last years. Like I don't know, Nick Fuentes becoming, I don't know if you've seen much of him in the last 2 weeks. But like
that guy's gay, right?
Like we just started.
That's what I said.
Sorry, ignore that.
No. I am. It would be news to me. I've seen him. Like all I've seen of him is just 30-second snippets. But even like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens have just led a huge shift away.
Yeah, well, that's what we were just saying. It's like it's definitely unprecedented. I think that shift.
Even like I don't know, like that Ted Cruz interview. That's been one of the like most skillful prosecutions of the anti-Israel argument I've seen.
Oh yeah, that's right. I saw your video on it, by the way. It was a great video.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I got two. I've got a mic. I might correct. I made 2 factual errors. I swapped the Syrian because on After Effects I had like a 50-layer composition. My brain was hurting.
So you're editing as well?
Yeah, I'm training up editors to take it over.
Mad.
But so I got what was it? Syria and Egypt flags mixed up, and I said that the 1996 Israeli election was like Netanyahu needed a coalition to form government, but the prime minister was directly elected. So just while I got the mic.
Cancel him.
Cancel. Correct the record.
Hey, listen, the flags are so similar.
They are. And it's like that. And like how many red, white, black with
that whole area, it's a bit iffy, you know?
That is a completely reasonable mistake to make because the flags are similar and they're similar. Do you know why they're similar?
Because they're close to each other?
They're actually in the 60s, there was talk about forming one country. So Egypt, Syria, Yemen. That's why their flags look very similar because the idea is when they do form a country, they can just make that one flag. But the thing is they started fighting with each other so much that like that didn't happen. It's unlikely to happen.
Shelbyville vibes.
But the flags are very similar on purpose because they're supposed to be the same flag.
I try and be really finicky with it because it's just people are out to get in the comments every time. Of like, actually, that's the 1972 flag, not the 1974 flag.
Dude, you can't. I mean, I'm sure I don't have to tell you this, but you just gotta not read the comments. You could literally post a still. Well, I mean, by definition now, you can post a still of the Earth being circular, and you'll get 50% of people. I mean, I tried to pick the most rational thing ever.
Yeah,
but flat earthers, like, it's impossible to not get hate in the comments.
And the best metric, because you also like if like 80% of your audience is saying you've messed up, it's worth listening to.
Sure.
Looking at I try and like just look. Don't go newest when you look at the YouTube comments. Don't go newest and go chronologically. go from highest ranked down.
Yes.
But the second thing that I will say on that is definitely that, but also don't pay attention to your comments for the first 3 hours after you upload.
Yeah.
It is the worst time because everyone knows that you're reading, because obviously, because, you know, it's the same like with everyone. Like you stop giving a shit after a certain point.
Oh, totally.
But like the first few hours or the first hour is like crucial because you're looking for like, okay, what's the feedback on this? And that is usually the kind of like chronically online people that are like waiting, and then and they are just filled with negative. So what you want to say, not only not the newest, but also just wait like a day or two, and then read through the comments.
That's good.
And sometimes a spike of angry comments can mean that your video is getting put out to new people. So it can actually be a good thing that the algorithm is favoring that comment. So I had like a wave of very kind positive. I just want to, like, huge thanks to the guys that watch Mr. M, because it was just like one of the more civil comment sections on Israel, period. But now it's starting to get put to very much the Zionist camp, and I'm seeing those comments start to trickle in.
Right.
Which, I need to turn notifications off my phone. It's chronic bias,
dude,
but-
You
definitely. Turn them off.
cannot satisfy everyone, but also the other, it sort of represents how polarized we are, man.
Yeah.
Like anything when we put up a podcast, like we put up a podcast like last week, and it's not even that, like, you know, there's overwhelmingly negative, but there's like almost a civil war where like 50% are negative, 50% are positive, and like there's no middle ground.
Yeah, I as a fan, I've seen it. I've been in there. Like, even it's like the labels as well. Of like, oh, I didn't realize Ali was a Zionist because he said like one remotely like.
He's a Zionist. Ironically, because of the internet too. That's what's drawing everyone so like apart. I think it's like the internet's the cause.
It's just like, if you're gonna talk about like any emotional issue, irrespective of like how, you know, how much of pragmatism or objectivity you try to bring it in, you're not going to satisfy.
Sorry, no, go on.
I was gonna say, even like for take Charlie Kirk for example, like I saw like Barack Obama, I felt just gave like captured the perfect sentiment for what anyone left of center would feel, which is like, it was a tragedy. I think he was wrong. But him being wrong makes it no less of a tragedy. It's like the most milquetoast statement you could make, and even then, he was getting torn to shreds on both sides. It's like, far out. Yeah, you just can't. Like, you can't see.
It's crazy.
So like one side it was like, how dare you say you felt he was wrong? The other side was very much like, how dare you say that his death was a tragedy? Pretty much, not in those words, but that's the substance of the message. It's like, okay, wow, like
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So how does that, like, I know, when did you start your YouTube channel?
2021.
Yeah, I cut you off. You said you were going to be a cop. Sorry, you can go back there.
Sorry. What the heck? That was me. So I did like 6 months of like a uni degree. UWS, gotta say, like Bankstown campus, at a very Sydney centric here, but like the funnest place to be.
Really?
Just like, it's just wet. I don't know. Going to uni with Westies was.
That'd be mad.
So then anyway, I decided I wanted to change. I wanted to be a teacher. Just wanted a regular 9 to 5, not shift work. And I know, like looking at Desi.
You started meeting Westies and you're like, I don't want to beat you up.
You guys are my friends now.
And I've heard, you know, you can't police in your hometown. So that would have been where I would have ended up anyway. So like,
should have been locking up your mates.
Yeah, my mate was a detective on like a super high profile case. I don't know if can I say, yeah, why not? I don't know if you heard about the Evie Amati Enmore axe attack.
Jesus.
No, I haven't. What's that?
Long story short, it was an attempted murder of someone in at Enmore at a petrol station, I think it was.
Wait, was that the person with the dreads? And they were
yes.
I do know. I think I know the person.
Really?
But like
they got attacked, or the attacker.
I think it was the attacker or something. It was like by 6 degrees of separation. I was like, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah.
Because he went to attack someone with an axe, but they had giant dreads and it stopped them from being beheaded.
Oh, I think I remember that as well. Yeah.
Insane. He was the lead detective on the case.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
I've seen the video footage.
I just watched Criminal Minds. I'm like, an underbelly. I was like, that looks like a cool job. And it was like 6 months in, I'm like, I am so not cut out for that. So I went into teaching, which is like, it's effectively policing to sort of much smaller scale.
Sure. Primary school or high school?
High school.
Cool.
History in high school.
Like modern history?
Yeah, modern.
Yeah, cool.
So modern studies religion, my two.
Do you know, you say you're a fan, what's the law of me in modern history? Do you know this is deep as? You probably won't remember this. It's not even that interesting. I wanted to do modern history.
Oh, yes. But your dad was like, yes. I thought you meant like law LAW as though it was some sort of a... Yes. Your dad was like, none of that. So you had to do ancient.
And I hated it.
Yes.
And then like only like 10 years after, I'm like, You know, there's hundreds of years between these two eras. They're not connected. Like, you might as well have said I should study archaeology to do ancient history.
I can visibly remember where I was walking when I heard that.
Oh my
It's
God.
like etched into my brain. Yeah,
You are a fan. He's a fan.
I'm a true fan.
And what you don't know is Miss Love blames all of his life's ills on that one thing that his dad said.
Anything that goes wrong, I'm like, if I did modern.
Was it I don't know if I misremembered this, but did you do Ancient with Jordan though? Is that where you
I don't know if we were in the same class.
Yeah, you guys did Rome together.
Yeah, I think we were in the same class. But he, excelled where I was like, vases? Who gives a shit about vases? Yeah.
I think that would have happened in modern as well. I don't think you would have graduated with a 99 A tie.
No, you know what? I'm not hijacking what you're saying, but
No.
that's bullshit because I did geography.
Dude, I think
and I killed it.
I think it would have still been a mystery.
No, dude, I killed it in geography because no, I swear that's not true.
One of my students, so we were doing the Holocaust, quoted Joe Rogan in his essay. Basically, he argued that Hitler escaped to Argentina, and he ended up getting a BAM4 in the HSC. So it's not like.
So it's all relative.
This kid has some balls. He said he did the Argentina thing on his HSC.
Well, so he did it when he submitted it to me.
Yeah, okay.
And then
And what did you give him feedback about that?
I was like, look, I think I appreciate that you've got enthusiasm for the historical discipline of, is this factually true? How do we just not can't assume that anything's true?
Yeah.
But Joe Rogan's not a reliable source.
I think it might have even been the Alex Jones podcast. Alex Jones was the guest that he had on it.
Yeah. It's not a reliable.
But I was like, that's pretty basic.
Don't there people think that he's still alive?
Some people.
Yeah, what would he be? It was
It's like
some people do.
150 years old.
Yeah, he'd have to be. Yeah,
Jesus,
something like that. So, I mean, some people say that about Harold Holt still. So that Harold Holt's still living it up in Paris.
He swam to Paris. So then you got into teaching, and you're still a teacher now. You're still a.
No, I left it. So doing Mr. M full time now.
That's amazing.
So huge shout out to Mr. M Patreons because this would not be possible.
Dude,
it was a preemptive job, and huge shout out to my wife. I was like, because we got a little kid at home.
Yeah, and
I was just like, I came home one day, and I was like, I don't know, I could see the potential of Mr. M if we could give it a full time treatment, but we got a kid. I got a decently paying job at school, very safe at that point. It was my wife that was like,
she supported.
She was like, nah, let's go full time, do it now.
Dude, that's an awesome part.
Man, you lucked out with that.
Totally.
It's because it might not work out, and she's also got the kid.
Yeah,
great part.
Seriously, and with if we didn't have kids, live your dream, but with a kid. It's good. It means I can be home with him as well, which has been so good. But yeah, I don't know, I was saying to these guys off there, so I started university to be a history teacher. So arts education is what you're studying. I don't know. Did you have to because you were UNSW, weren't you, Ali? Mm-hmm. And wait, I'm going to test my law here. Were you UNSW for a day? Is that right?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I went, they sent me on a little excursion there. I wasn't enrolled. I was just like a toolie. I was a toolie.
Yeah. And you had to be they're like,
well, they were like, go into classes. And I was like, all right. So I just rocked up. I just rocked up into random classes. And I don't know, I think I did teaching, business, politics. Oh, and one was rockets, how to build rockets. That was a hard one. That was a hard one.
I remember you said
that one was fucking hard.
Sorry, I'm going to seem super spectrum here, but it's I can visually remember where I was when I heard all of this. But for the politics one, were they like, who's this? And they put up Anastasia Palaszczuk.
Yeah, I was nailing it.
Yeah.
I was like, boom, and boom. Boom! I was nailing it. They're like, very good.
So such a weird blend of people who were just doing a gen ed subject to clearly tick it off, or people that were super politically active.
Yeah.
And this was 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. It's peak SJW at uni.
Yeah.
And so the whole time you're just constantly, I don't know, surrounded with
Socialist Alliance.
Yeah, and even I remember I got asked to sign a petition against Marine Le Pen. During the 2017 French election. Well, like,
Talk about not having an effect.
yeah.
This student council in Australia.
Seriously, so I got like 60 signatures or something like that.
Wow, that'll stop her.
And like
60.
That's too many.
Yeah, like I'm a little bit. I'm religious. I'm Christian. And just like I don't know, it was this like constant. It was that era where Christianity went from being really Ned Flandersy, like dorky, they might not believe in evolution. Kind of vanilla personality, which I do believe in evolution, but that was the stereotype around them. To then, like, Christianity is very repressive. It's this like barbaric religion. So it's just a pretty unpleasant place to be around, which left me very fertile to. I was just on like watching soccer highlights one day, very vulnerable, I should say. And next recommended video was Paul Joseph Watson, Death of Modernity.
Wow, okay.
I got to check this guy out.
Yeah,
and
I fell into that hole too. Like, just like, what is he? Just being like. And then they Paul Joseph Watson. It's like, and then they burn down a church and say that they didn't burn down a church. That's smart. It's like, it's like too easy.
Oh, so and like I don't know. I'd never heard just anything other than what I'd heard at university. Really, I just thought like this was indicative of what all of young people thought.
Wait, so when you were at uni, so this was 2017. You said
Trump's first term, pretty much.
And so at this point, were you? So obviously this is peak of culture wars.
Yeah.
Were you like against SJW at the time? And
Yeah, So yes, but I didn't know how to articulate it all. So just like this general feeling of like.
So it was like sort of you kept it inside, or did you
totally.
like get into fights?
No, I'm not putting my head above the parapet. What do you call it at the time?
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, just put your head down. But I find this really annoying. And then when I saw Paul Joseph Watson, I was like, yeah, again, it's such a simplistic. I'm so dumb though. It's such a simplistic argument.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, like that. And then that led to Milo. It led to Jordan Peterson, who I actually felt like, the thing that got me from Jordan Peterson is an argument I still agree with today. I think his argument was like, we got to be really careful with the mental health movement, not to pathologize decisions and not to pathologize evil, to make it out to be like your like evil decisions are purely a result of your neurochemistry. And you take accountability out of the picture, and like I think that's a non-controversial statement. Like just like you take responsibility for ethical behavior decisions that you make. I'm like, yeah. It's like, so that's really dumb. But you know what else is really dumb? Universal healthcare. And I just kind of fell down.
It's always the way. Or when he talks about climate change, it's just like, I don't think this is your field.
Yeah, and
like
pre-Russia, like pre his unfortunate absence in Russia.
Benzos or whatever it was.
Yeah, he was. I felt he was significant. He was jolly. He was happy. He enjoyed. But now he just seems angry and.
Did his daughter's like kooky ideas have anything to do with this?
Yes, I don't know much about her. So she's. Is it like
she's the one who first came up with the whole only eat meat.
Yeah, but
that was her.
That was her.
To play devil's advocate, though, she said. Apparently, she has this very rare, intense autoimmune disease, and it helped her. But I think what that means is the exception isn't the rule. So I don't doubt that didn't help her.
Like that's what he says. It helped her. It's like you've got to try it if you can't do.
It helps
but
him.
The thing is, like, I don't know if eating exclusively meat will help you for autoimmune.
Yeah,
I think
vegetables are kind of important. Like,
I think that you can cherry pick any weird examples, and I think they're a weird example where it works. But for him to be like, you should try it, is like saying this might work for 1 in a billion people.
Yeah,
that's the problem. I think. You know what I'm saying?
How can you go without that fiber? Is my like,
yeah.
Oh, true.
Like, that would be so painful.
It would. Oh my god, such a good point.
I mean, it's I think for 99 point whatever percent of the world, it's a terrible idea. But I'm doubting that it might help.
I think for like most people, it'd be a terrible.
We're
all humans. At the end. Like, there's no alien or like there's no carnivore living amongst us that can.
Said it helped her. I doubt. I don't think she's getting paid by.
It doesn't matter. But like, Jordan Peterson is like, I feel bad for the guy. Like, he has some issues.
Yeah.
And I was down a similar slope, though. I was saying earlier. Like, I was down a similar thing of like, I think we were just talking about this before we started, but I reckon a lot of these kind of conservative talking points are very emotionally sort of like they come from a place of emotion rather than, it might be rational emotion, but sometimes statistics aren't emotional. So I think that they pry on people when like I was saying before, it's like they're threatening our freedom. It's like, do you like freedom? It's like, yes. Like, well, quick, run, grab the eagle. You know, like a lot of that.
Yeah.
You know? So I was kind of similar. Like, and I think it was this podcast, even though I'm on it, that sort of hearing other perspectives in it. You almost have to, I think, talk out more progressive policy. You have to you almost have to make a logical case for it. But then once it's made, it makes complete sense over some. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like with conservative stuff, it's very flashy. It's like McDonald's or something. But then once you eat it, you're like, I feel like sick.
Very false politics.
Whereas I think
Do you know what? I have a theory on this.
Yeah,
I think like the reason it makes you feel sick is because old school conservatism, like, you know, founding fathers of America and stuff, there was definitely freedom as an inherent, but it was always followed by freedom and equality.
Yeah.
Right? And like we've forgotten the equality bit from this entire. So everyone's just looking for like whatever their version of freedom is, which sometimes means like freedom means you don't need to have healthcare. You choose to.
Yeah.
And it's
Be a
like,
debt slave to you.
well, that sort of contradicts the equality part. It's like we all should have the opportunity to have healthcare that's reasonably priced. And I think that's why it makes you feel sick, because like you're just overdosing on freedom without the equality.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah. But I'm just saying, I can relate to that.
Because I don't know how you felt, but like you'd like listen. So I listen to the Daily Wire like every day. So like when like Brett Kavanaugh and Neil Gorsuch were getting sworn in as Supreme Court justice, I was like completely across. Which is terrible, because I knew Malcolm, but I was in ScoMo's lecture. I couldn't tell you anything about Australian politics.
Yeah.
Wait, so what was your view at the time? Of Brett Kavanaugh and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, because I consume so much Ben Shapiro, I was like, he's an innocent man that's been, but I need to revisit it now. I assume that wasn't the full story, but I was only getting.
I actually don't know a lot about it. I thought you'd tell me.
Oh no, I got very much. I know Sam Harris. The only one that I listened to that was against it was Sam Harris, and he made a very compelling case, but I just kind of put it away and pretended that I didn't hear it and just kept listening to my Macca's politics.
Yeah.
But you listen to, I don't know, you listen to it for long enough, you just become angrier.
Totally. Yeah.
It's a drug. Like it's energizing politics.
It's like hate. What do they call it? Porn or something? I don't know. Like it's like
Makes sense,
yeah.
And so how did you switch from a dose of Daily Wire to having?
So
I got my mate's quite conservative himself. He sent me a message. He's like, mate, I think I've just discovered the 67th book of the Bible. What do you mean? He's like, no commentary on society can be this accurate without the hand of God in it. He sends me Why Triple J Sucks by Friendly Geordies. And I cannot believe it. So Jordan perfectly articulated I said before that I latched onto Paul Joseph Watson and all that because they could in some part articulate just this grungy feeling that I had at the time, but I couldn't put words to it myself. And we didn't have that in Australia. Maybe Avi Yemeni.
He wasn't around as much, I guess. That's Rebel News, right?
He had that Jim Jeffries thing that
Gavin McInnes was the one that I was like, yeah, he's right.
Oh, is that
pre like Proud Boys? He was just being like, more guns is better, and I'm just like, makes sense.
Yeah,
that kind of shit.
I was brought around on the gun thing completely.
Yeah.
And so he sends me like Why Triple J Sucks, and so he perfectly articulates just years of what I couldn't put words to in a way that I've never seen done like that before. I don't know, it's just one of I don't know. It's like, I think Miss Love, I think you're doing like a line in it or something.
Oh, the video.
Yeah. And it's like vibes. And I'm like, yes, that's again,
that was in Lithgow, yeah.
Yeah,
it was in the Move FM studio.
I was going to ask about that because that run that you guys went on was generational, because I feel like it was just pure creativity. There was no, it wasn't a machine at this point.
Yeah.
It wasn't a content factory. It was just...
You mean YouTube at that time?
YouTube, yeah.
Yeah.
Even...
Do you think it's changed?
Just the nature of YouTube?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. No, I'm just curious. Yeah, anyway.
I mean, mine's very unartistic. It's very, systematic.
Sure.
It's just the same process over and over again to create a video. But, yeah, there's Sam Harris debates Grant Krapp from Love Island. Koshi Savage's Ben Shapiro on School Zones, just stuff like that. So what he was doing is he was actually engaging with all these people that I thought were funny, and he was kind of going, yes, SJWs are annoying, but that doesn't mean that Medicare's bad. And it was just a good...
Totally. Absolutely. That distinction, I feel like he was the first to make that distinction, which is more profound than... Because people conflate issues. Like you said, Peterson being responsibility and ethics are important. It's like, yeah, it's like, and also healthcare shouldn't be free, and it's or shouldn't be universal. And it's like they get clumped together.
Yeah.
So he kind of like separated. It's like you can hate annoying narcissists.
Yeah.
But you can also like well-funded schools and
Yes,
roads and healthcare. You know.
Yeah, you know.
So yeah, that's cool. That's interesting.
When I went to uni for undergrad, 2013, right? 2013 was a different time. So in 2013, you had people that were SJWs, but SJWism wasn't a thing because you essentially, what would be their opposite or the conservative viewpoint, they were largely apolitical at the time. Like they wouldn't engage in discussions. So all you had was at universities, just what you would consider today SJWs, just completely dominant, essentially. And anyone that didn't agree with them would just like, you know, not really make a fuss about it, would just maybe talk to their friends and say, oh, that's kind of annoying, but who cares? Let's go to what was that festival?
Stereosonic? Was that the one? Yeah.
That's what people cared about. Like the people that were later on into like Ben Shapiro were exclusively into Stereosonic at the time.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. And so it was when I left uni around 2016, when you came in, that was the birth of this new movement, which was like anti-SJWism. So I completely missed that part at university. And that's essentially when Jordan made those videos to change the date and Triple J. There were very few voices that were saying that.
Yeah. Because the first I remember seeing Jordan was on Lockout Laws. And I watched like 2 minutes of it. I was like, there's some other guy that is like, you know, keep our King's Cross open. I'm not going to take him too seriously. Little did I know his argument was not that at all. His argument was like they're funneling into the casino. Yeah. And so, yeah, I just thought he was some woke lefty and like didn't pay any attention to him until I saw that video. I was like, oh, there's just I forgot I got red pill. There's a complete other side.
Yeah.
And then like I got into this podcast. Seriously, like saying to Ali when he was bringing me up here, is like the one where you analyzed Where Is the Love by Sunrise for like an hour.
Oh my God.
That was my intro. And I'm like, who else analyzes these niche parts of Australia that I am so nostalgic about with this much detail? I have to listen to more.
Oh my God.
So this podcast was like, oh, they're a bit left. My episode was like, oh, they're a little bit lefty, but they're pretty funny. And I kind of use, you know, when people like, I listen to both sides of the story and they have like a token news source from the other side. You're my token news source, but like I listen to it from both sides. And I was like, make some pretty good points. And then like in COVID, like Ali was red pilling me about China.
Oh, shit.
Was that Holsworthy Live or just no?
I did get into Holsworthy Live a little bit.
But that we were just talking about
yeah,
China,
it was like during COVID and stuff. I remember.
I like those pods. They were funny, doing them from home and stuff.
Yeah.
My piss bottle.
Yeah. I do remember that one. Was that when you nearly got your housemate had COVID or something? And you thought you were going to die as well.
Yeah, that's right.
That got me through COVID. So,
damn, that's so.
And then
sweet.
he almost nuked the podcast channel.
Yeah,
because
I did.
You deleted it? Like,
no,
just like got it cancelled.
Yeah, because I, in a jocular fashion, was saying like, what did I say?
Said like Bill Gates is installing 5G in all of us.
We're not going to get screwed for saying that now.
Not anymore. No one cares. But at the time, dude, like, even though he said it as a joke.
Yeah.
But he implied that he was serious. But that was part of the joke that I'm serious about this. Dude, YouTube,
strike.
Like they gave us a strike,
came under the
and then like permanently demonetized us.
Really,
forever.
It was a very effed up period.
I wish I didn't say that.
Oh, yeah. So you're like still to this day.
So this is when he said it. It was just before basically Biden administration had made a huge deal about like how COVID conspiracies, like Joe Rogan was getting canceled.
Yeah.
And basically, YouTube was freaked out. And they were like, oh, shit, like, if we don't do this, then, like, the government's going to come at us. Kind of like how, you know, they are with Trump.
Yeah.
Now. And, like, we were, and his fucking stupid joke was, like, the thing that
free speech warrior
here.
That's
crazy. Like, because I've seen, like, 8 camera angles of Charlie Kirk getting shot now, and that's just, like,
they don't care anymore. They don't care anymore. But like at the time, it was.
I got in just in time for us to demonetize ourselves.
Yeah.
Just the right time.
Funnily enough, you had made that joke maybe a month later, it would have been fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say like because that like was that when COVID conspiracy started to become cool? Like I feel like I missed the wave of because I tapped out of like the right wing ecosphere on America probably around about COVID times. And then all of a sudden, like, it just became, like, even like with guys like Ben Shapiro, anti-vax became cool. I was like, wait, how did I miss?
Dude, so what's here? What is, first of all, like, what do you think makes, I know there's a lot of Australian conservatives that are also anti-vax. Like, I get that. But it seems like it's much less proportion of Australian population compared to the US.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, why that is? Like, what?
Just constant questioning of mainstream, like, can't trust the government. I don't know, I'd been speculating, but just like death by 1,000 cuts for how much you can trust authorities.
Well, did you guys hear, like, Trump and RFK Jr. came out with a new bombshell?
Yeah.
I think today.
I watched pretty much the whole funeral yesterday, whole memorial. Crazy. Is this the Tylenol causing autism? Yeah.
Autism.
What the hell is that about?
Is there any like proof of that?
Well, so I looked up because I was like, well, that's groundbreaking news. But then, like, Australian experts are like, please don't pay attention to that.
Really?
Yeah.
There are some studies that have indicated that there may be a potential connection, but then there's like have been dismissed due to lack of evidence.
Yeah.
And so in most cases, so their argument was that the correlation between Panadol and autism is not because of Panadol, but the reason why the person is taking Panadol in the first place.
Yeah.
So, like, normally people don't just take Panadol all the time. Some people do.
Wait, it's Panadol. That's the that's.
Well, Panadol or Tylenol, whatever the
Paracetamol. I think we have paracetamol in Australia. Yeah.
They're saying that paracetamol gives you autism.
Yeah, pregnant women that consume paracetamol.
Oh my God.
gives you. That's what they're claiming.
My wife's pregnant right now, and she I got a message from her today. She's so apolitical, and she was like, "What's like?" She used the phrase RFK, and I'm like, "What the heck? When does my wife ever use the phrase RFK?" But like, what's the go with this? I was like, "Oh, geez, this like if my extremely apolitical wife is."
Yeah. Oh, because dude, it's like it's.
I didn't know.
Like people take paracetamol all the time.
I didn't know it was Panadol that they were rallying against.
It was like those sorts of things, because we were talking about on our podcast just the invasion of Iraq, and like if there's even a 1% possibility that like Botswana had WMDs that could nuke us, part of me would be like, yeah, invade them to like it's like even if there's like a 1% chance that it's true, that plays at your
For sure.
It's gonna freak people out so much,
particularly when you're
massively.
pregnant. You're like, well, I mean,
Totally.
I don't want to take a risk to make a point that
Yeah.
RFK sucks.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Like, I don't know how much of the memorial service you watched.
I
Man,
didn't watch
It was
it was sad on multiple levels. Firstly,
Yeah.
it's a sad because someone's died and it's a funeral, but also the connotations. I just couldn't watch it.
oh man,
It was like it
insane.
looked like it was like a rally of sorts.
It pretty much
know.
was, yeah. I don't know. Even just Trump getting up there, like that's where he announced, "I've got a huge autism announcement coming tomorrow."
That's a not appropriate thing to say to someone's
But
eulogy.
what was it like? Give us a.
Most of it was pretty good. And so it depends what your definition of good. Like relative to what your expectations might be, it was just like Tucker Carlson getting up and being like, Charlie was a good guy. Like they spoke about it was a very Christian themed.
I saw his wife was like, "I forgive him," which I thought was like nice.
Yeah, it's so weird. So like for me being a Christian, it's weird. Like there's elements of like what I think is identifiable Christianity. Like they use the language and everything, but it's just it's still such a bait and switch of like, man, God just loves forgiveness, which the Bible talks about. He just loves the Second Amendment as well. It's like, what? So it had that like, I don't know if that was said. I don't know if that was said.
No,
but like, it just had a flavor of like, and even like, I don't know if you've seen Trump got asked what his favorite Bible verse is.
Oh, really?
And he said all of them because he couldn't name one. Just
Like
so,
this time,
I know this is going a while back.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like,
all of them.
some of them were quite literate in Christianity. Some were clearly like just clutching at straws to try and put something
Yeah.
up. Trump Jr., the first time I ever heard him speak, he has such a good voice for audiobooks, but Trump,
Oh, right.
Trump Jr.
he impersonated his dad. Like,
What?
Yeah, it was crazy. And then
That's his youngest son, is it?
No,
no,
it's
not
Don
Barron,
Jr., the oldest one.
Yeah, the like one with the beard that's
Oh.
like 50.
The greasy dude.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
He's got a really like I hadn't heard him speak, but
Right.
Trump got up and it was like when you write like a high school English essay, you've like memorized something in advance or something like that, and the question pops up. It's not what you've prepared for, so you just shoehorn the question into your essay at the end of it. So he would do a political rally, and then at the end of every sentence, he'd be like, Charlie would love that. And just like that was it. So he wouldn't talk about Charlie. He'd just talk about his agenda.
Oh,
and then Charlie would love that at the end of it. But
it seems to me that it's like pretty obviously just so politicized, isn't it? Where it's like, you know, if someone came in and was like, this is not a political like occasion, we're just lamenting the death like of this guy. It's like, I don't think anyone could say that with a straight face.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Seriously. And even like the Turning Point Australia leader was there.
There's a Turning Point Australia.
Turning Point Australia, all
Did
right.
not know that.
Yeah, much smaller following, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But he came back, he's like, oh, we're going to launch another anti-migration rally. So there's another one coming in a month's time.
Oh my
You're like, oh, I can't deal with this anymore.
Jesus.
Just
Yeah. Do you think
go to
that,
the cricket.
Yeah. Do you think that like the world has become now too politicized?
Oh, yeah. Like,
It's crazy.
Like, because even like again, one of the things that Jordan really sold me on was that being cultural was not being political. So yeah, remember, I don't know if the phrase that kept getting used over and over was that politics is downstream from culture. And I said that a lot. I think Jordan was like, it really isn't. Like it's to do with control, division and allocation of resources.
Yeah. It's just separate things.
There's rooms like, again, like, even like looking at like the history of the Labor Party, it's like super conservative Catholics with like super progressive socialist atheists. And it was like, okay, that's not our culture isn't our glue here. It's our economic agenda that's our glue.
Yeah.
And they worked that out pretty quickly in Labor.
Yeah, right.
So like, people are more politicized, but their politics has just become fantasy. It's like,
Yes.
I don't know, like take Nick Fuentes, for example. I've only seen like those small reels. Every time I've seen him, I don't think I've ever seen him discuss the allocation of resources.
Yeah. It's always cultural.
Well, I think that's just a symptom that tells you like this the system's broken, dude.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely like the more and more I think about it, it's clearly one of the key problems in this situation is that you have two parties, at least in the US, you have two parties that kind of share, or at least used to share, most of their political platforms. So a lot of people that wanted some kind of change just felt that they weren't in a position to implement it in any which way. They couldn't vote for anyone that would do it. And I think like in that kind of a scenario, it will make you crazy. Like it'll just make you angry all the time. And then
what'll make you crazy if you don't have representation?
well, yeah, if you don't have representation, like think about it. Like for the longest time, for like 20, 30 years in American democracy, you could vote Republican and you could vote Democrats and you will essentially get the same policy.
Right.
Like
But
there's
is
a
your
saying
argument-
like no matter who you vote for, you get John McCain.
Yeah. I remember that.
Wait, is your argument now saying that like it's good that it's so splintered?
No, I'm saying it's splintered, but I'm now realizing, well, of course it would be splintered. Like the system was kind of broken, and we were pretending that like
It was initially
nothing's
broken.
happened, you know.
Yeah, it was initially broken.
And
yeah.
even with this migration stuff, dude, like I am completely on your side. Like it's annoying. Like why can't you go to the cricket and like blah blah blah? But at the same time, like
he loves cricket.
Oh, mate, yeah.
well, he mentioned I don't even like it.
No, I just wanted to state that he's a big fan of the cricket.
Yeah,
not
you
anymore.
gotta-
Australia first, Pakistan second.
Yeah, dude, 100% with the current teams. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Fuck Pakistan, Australia all the way.
Yeah.
Wait, I can't remember what I was.
You were saying we should just go to the cricket, but everyone's so
it's
polarized.
migration. Yeah.
Yeah, like the migration stuff. Like, look, you can have your opinion on whether like more migration is bad or it's good or whatever it might be, but I think we've come like a majority of Australians do want controlled migration. Like we can make that argument, right? And if that's the case, then like they should be able to implement those policies. And if both parties are not really substantively doing anything about it, but just like sort of placating it, one pretends that they care, but like in actions they have the same kind of like you will have angry people rallying. I don't know. I think you maybe should let them implement this.
But then there's people on the other side that are saying this is like racist and everything.
Yeah, but like
so.
I don't know what do you know what the polls are for that?
don't.
Oh, when it comes to nah.
Jordan claims that 70% of Australians, this is his figure, I haven't looked at it, but he claims that 70% of Australians are for controlled migration.
That would make
Like,
sense.
that would make sense.
But
I
like
think
also like like cut down on the numbers.
yeah.
But like, I think the thing that I don't get is rather than having it be a yes no, why don't we just all agree to a number and just be like, this is the optimum number for migration. So rather than being like more migration, less migration, and just make it, because you're just going to be in a constant back and forth tennis match, just proactively get on the front foot and go, this is the optimum number we want.
Yeah.
What can we do to help achieve this number?
Yeah.
And then I just feel it takes the venom out of the back and forth a little bit of making it a number rather than a more or less.
Yeah.
And there certainly is part of I think part of it is scapegoating as well. Like there's
massively.
that too. So like irrespective of what number you come up with, some people are going to be like, well, 1 is the problem.
Yeah.
So you have to deal with you have to deal with those issues, but
that's what one.
I think representation is still important, because otherwise the consequences of those are that you'll have more rallies, and then in America's case, when it gets intense, like violence as well.
Yeah.
I hope to God that we don't ever get in that position, but it scares me.
Yeah. I mean, something to give some encouragement to the Australians listening is, so what I do is one of the main ways to get paid for much is that I give my time for 10 people that are wanting to join the Labor, or either in the Labor Party wanting to join the Labor Party, where I basically just do one-on-one tutoring with them on Labor Party history. And so I get to hear all their stories about how they're going in their local branches. It is really easy to get a seat in state parliament, at least, if you just join your local branch, make connections. Like, don't be slimy, but just be friendly and
So you're a Labor Party supporter now?
Oh, yeah. I'm on that train, yeah.
Which is, by the way, crazy from the context that you told us where you came from.
The power of Jordan.
That's
much.
crazy.
Just like, so
No, I vote for him too.
it's like you can't argue with the facts that's been put forward. Particularly the Bruz thing. I was like, man, I just like
Fully.
like that.
Fully.
Oh yeah, I was death by 1,000 cuts to get there, but that pushed me over the edge a little bit. But listening
fully.
to their stories, I don't know. I won't say too much about him because I don't want to potentially damage his campaign. But just rocked up to his local branch, and it was a bunch of no one was under the age of 70, and they're like, well, we want
the youth.
Yeah, we want someone to run for us in
70
the next...
years young.
Yeah.
Sorry, God, sorry.
We want someone to run for us in the next election, and the last guy was just the husband of the federal member for our seat. No one wanted to vote for him because he was just seen as an insider. He didn't even want the job, so he didn't even bother campaigning. Do you want to be our candidate? Please be our candidate. And so, like, there's actually, like, if you join a major party, there's actually a pretty easy access point.
That's great.
To get into politics. And obviously, there's the glamour of being in federal parliament. So every aspirational young person, and what I'm saying, independent senator for federal parliament, they all, like, that's a pretty common route that they try. But, I mean, the whole Bruz saga showed just how much power state government has. There's lots of opportunities to easily, I think, was it Bob Carr that said, if you join your local Labor, which I'm a hypocrite because I haven't, partly because I don't want that to be an accusation of
sure.
But if you join your local Labor branch, your impact is 100 times what it would be as just a general member of the public.
Really?
Yeah, that would make sense.
What does joining a branch practically do? I should know this.
No, so you get to, well, firstly, you debate policy at your local branch, but then you in terms of pre-selection for a candidate, it's the local branches that pre-select within an electorate, and you get to nominate delegates to represent you at the national conference where Labor decides their policy platform. So probably the best example of this was in 2021, Labor agreed to recognise Palestine. So everyone's saying that the marches in Sydney led to Albo recognising Palestine. Labor had agreed to this back in 2021.
Right.
But it wasn't coming from the politicians. It was coming from the grassroots, from the branches that were putting pressure on Labor to actually recognise.
Right.
And now, we fast forward. Obviously, Albo was waiting for the correct political climate to go and do it.
Yeah,
but
right.
Now he has gone and done it. It's symbolic, but it's still like that's what a lot of people want to see the recognition. And
so wait a sec. I join.
Yeah.
What do I have to do?
You go to
Do
a
you
meeting.
just want to be the prime minister without doing any work? Is that what's happening?
I want to feel like I'm contributing with doing as little as possible.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the attitude of most. That's the attitude of most people.
So what do I have to? What do I do? I have to make toffee cups or something?
You go to your branch meeting if you want. You don't have to. You sit there. They talk like they just do business. Oh, Miss Love's here for the first time. Welcome, Miss Love. You have some scones.
Yeah. That's a plus. That's a tick
yeah.
so far. Tick so far.
Dude, they don't give scones at the commie.
I don't know if they have scones. Yeah.
Make your own bread, dude.
There's no scones. Just like a lot of judgment on everything that you do in life.
So do you sort of pay into it? Yeah.
Yeah, you got to pay membership fee, but
I'm sure it's nothing.
It's like Johnny. Yeah, I can't remember what it is. I haven't for that exact reason, so that it doesn't bring.
No, I get it.
The party to disrepute anything that I do. But yeah, that's pretty easy. And I think appointing delegates to represent you at the national conference, or if you're in state, the state conference / state convention, depending on where you are, basically just gives you really access to have representatives to go, hey, no, we do want to recognize Palestine, or we don't.
Right. Grassroots sort of.
Yeah. And like the history of the Labor Party is basically for like the first 50 years, they gave way too much power to their local branches. They get like, it was too democratic.
Right.
So they would go, like Queensland had the first Labor government of anywhere in the world.
I did not know that.
Crazy, right? You wouldn't think, like, that is not where you would think.
No.
So there's a guy called, his name was Anderson Dawson. But basically what had happened for the decade prior was that the Labor Party was going, look, we're a minority party. We've got two choices. We can either be with the Liberals or be with the Conservatives. They were the two groups that were in Queensland's parliament at the time. And if we go with the Liberals, we're going to get at least democratic reforms, which will allow us to get more Labor guys in the future. So let's do that. But the branches thought that the party was selling out by aligning with the Liberals and basically just kicked their leader out and just made life hell for whoever was in at the time.
Right.
And so now they've tightened it a little bit to give a little bit more control back to the politicians in power. But it's probably at a healthy nexus, I'd say, right now, where you still get a pretty democratic say in the Labor Party.
Right.
But yeah, it was nuts.
No, it's interesting. It's an interesting timeline. Like for you, I mean, just in terms of, yeah.
It's
cool.
So if you want to join your local branch, you can actually have a pretty big impact and get representation in Parliament.
I have a feeling, Miss Love, you're not going to do it.
Maybe when I retire. And at that
From the
point,
world?
And at that point, like, I'll just be on less 70-year-olds being like, the pressure and the bubblers is too low.
Can it for a misadventure? Could we get like
Definitely. They've tried to send me to. They wanted to send me to a Young Liberals thing, but they were always. But they were always like cancelled. There wasn't enough people there. Like I tried to go a few times. They were like, it's not happening.
Wow, I thought you'd have Young Liberals.
I didn't.
Young Nationals, yes, but Young Liberals, no.
Oh, really?
Oh, maybe that's where I need to go. Jesus. Yeah, that's wild.
Because anyone like it used to attract.
Why?
I think Jordan's argument is pretty compelling that the talent from the upper classes is just way more
in banking and
sector.
Finances. Yeah.
And you look at like to get into Young Liberal, like if you think about every Young Liberal that I don't know, for me, every Young Liberal I've met, super politically active and conservative from high school, which is like actually that just wasn't the Liberal. Like you have your John Howards or whatever that were, but most weren't. Like, and they're typically
private sector.
Yeah, and all the ones that are super political are pretty off-putting at times as well. Like the ones that are like either A, really preachy, or B, just constantly like Americanizing Australian politics.
Yeah.
I think people just don't gravitate towards it, and so then it's hard to recruit.
Right.
When I was at uni, again, undergrad, I remember like I became friends with this dude, and later on I found out he was part of the Young Libs. But man, his dad had just sold a massive, he was from Canberra.
Yeah.
And his dad had just sold a massive factory or something and had sold it for like $300 million.
Oh my God.
So he was loaded.
Jesus.
But the thing is, not only was he loaded, he was also like just a very immoral guy.
Really? Yeah.
He, and I remember one time, like he was talking about like him and his mate were talking about like some girl that he was trying to get with. And I remember like thinking, he's kind of I don't remember exactly what he said, but I remember thinking like, oh, he's kind of a shit person. And without me saying anything, he looks at me, he's like, I'm not a good guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's endearing that he's self-awareness.
No, credit where it's due. He said, I'm not a good guy. And I was like, oh yeah, well, me neither, dude. Well, I mean, I said that.
Yeah.
But then I remember like thinking like, yeah, I'm not going to hang out with this guy. And he was the only Young Lib that I knew.
Really?
So my impression of Young Liberals were like, they were just fucked.
Yeah, because the ones I know are actually pretty chill. Like they're quite pleasant, very pleasant people to be around.
Yeah, well,
but like I was friends with them before they were Young Liberals, so I don't think of them as Young Liberals.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you just go through uni. It's I don't know. It's a lot of trying to weaponize Charlie Kirk's death to like just further divide us. And I don't endorse it from the other side. I very much just. Let's just not use Charlie Kirk's death to try and keep any...
politicizing it.
That's where I kind of land on it. But I have a couple on my social media, so I like to keep tabs. And it's just like, we are so far from allocation of resources in terms of what our policy conversation's about. That I think that sort of messaging is just off-putting to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they're in a bit of a bind because, I think the consensus seems to be that the Liberal Party needs to reclaim re-energized through a conservative vote because a milquetoast approach, Malcolm Turnbull approach, just won't energize at all. But in doing so, you actually hollow out a lot of talent, like Malcolm Turnbull, who wasn't particularly, let's just say, like, I don't know how ideological he really was. He just wanted to be the prime minister. But I don't know. Like, I've got plenty of criticisms of Turnbull. I re-listened to his phone call with Trump, where Trump blew up about him about the refugee deal, and he was completely competent in doing a job that he needed to do.
Yeah.
But you just lose a lot of talent like that, I feel, by
polarizing even more to the sort of
making the liberal, instead of making it the broad church that they often talk about, making it the narrow church.
Actually, and you're in a good position to actually shed some light on this. There's almost like Christians and conservatism and liberal party almost go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And how does Labor appropriate Christianity in some sense? Because believing in God has nothing to do with your politics.
Totally.
So, but how does Labor be more Christian friendly?
Yeah, I reckon. Well, it's so hard because the Labor's best thing is that they are a very they figured out quite early on. Oh, in terms of they made you take a pledge to be bound by caucus's decision. That was the rest of the Australian political party. So protectionist free traders at the time was so far behind Labor in doing that. So Labor could punch way above the weight because they never divided. And so the issue is if you go Liberals' approach is you are bound by caucus unless it's on a conscience-based issue. I don't know, take euthanasia or one of those ones that's likely to divide people. Whereas Labor you have to be unanimous in that. Right. And so I think there's a group called Christians for Labor, which I think is really good. Basically, their goal is twofold. It's to help equip Christians to go to Labor branch meetings and just basically present possibly a Christian worldview within the Labor branch meetings. And it's also go to churches and be like, hey, there are other options than voting for ScoMo.
Sure. Yeah.
Just because ScoMo prayed once doesn't mean that he therefore has to have your vote. And so I think honestly, I think the last couple of years, Labor's made heaps of progress in reclaiming a religious vote. Just because I feel like they just mellowed a bit and chilled out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The economic case is actually, I think, quite persuasive and quite compatible with Christianity, which especially look at the person of Jesus.
It's equitable and ethical and
totally.
Yeah.
And
right,
it is obviously 100% it is. But I'm just saying, with religion or Christianity or any other religion, you can sort of believe in what you want to believe in and justify it through that.
Totally,
that's true. That's true.
Equality and looking after the poor are almost stereotypically Christian things to do, but there's certain Christian communities in the U.S. for them, they believe that Jesus wants you to be really rich and drive around in a BMW.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the ultimate Christian. And, where in reality, I mean, you can argue, but I don't know if Jesus really wanted that.
Dude, I don't think. Yeah, he's like Lamborghinis.
I don't think he was
518 Lamborghini green tint.
And so obviously within Christian, so prosperity gospel stuff is I'd say within the broad church there's Christianity, that branch Christianity would be the way that Labor views the Greens, something like that, just a complete hijacking of the movement to somewhere else.
Yeah.
And you're right, there's Christian churches that define themselves through a social gospel, Jesus was a great social justice leader, and we'll follow that tradition. There's Christian churches that emphasize his lordship, that no, he this is the Messiah, he's not just a social justice leader, he paid for our sins. And then there's others that literally could I don't know if you know much about the justification for the existence of Israel based off what's in the Bible.
Yeah.
But there's other things like that as well, which is that's a very fringe interpretation of the Book of Revelation. But so it's Christianity is quite schism. I'd say Catholics are still quite sympathetic towards Labor. It's for a long while.
Because it's Catholics were generally poor and working class.
Yeah, exactly. They were Irish.
Yeah. And I was raised Catholic, and Croatia, is all still staunchly very Catholic, predominantly, and they're a poor country, really.
Yeah.
So it does have that. They tend to go, Italians, it tends to go hand in hand.
Yeah, totally.
Are you calling Catholics poor?
Yeah. Apart from the Vatican, generally,
I think socioeconomically, there's a huge disparity between.
Definitely,
I think South America probably would explain most of that, but.
Yeah. But even poor Irish Catholics, and there's a lot. I think
in Victoria, it was really pronounced. So basically the Squattocracy were Protestant, at least by Colton. More so, I like Jim Chalmers' quote. He says his Catholicism is tribal rather than Bible. So they're Protestant in terms of their tribe.
Right,
I don't know,
yes.
Each one would vary in terms of how devout they would be.
But similar.
And then Catholics were like dirt poor. And so you've also got the economic divide of like the rich squatters were abusing Catholic labor on their farms as well.
Right. Yeah.
So
Because the English had that big shift towards
they had Brexit.
No. I'm talking about.
I'm talking Henry VIII, Brexit.
Yeah. Because didn't he want to like divorce his wife or something?
Yeah, pretty much. That's it. So he I mean, I was talking to Joe about this because he was talking about like his Kings of England thing that he was listening, the audiobook that he was listening to.
Yeah, that's right.
So very quick history. 1517, the Protestant church schisms from the Catholic Church, mainly over whether this place called purgatory exists. Is like, do you go this middle place to have your sins purged before entering heaven? Henry VIII actually
That's what I call the train rides, purgatory.
Oh, seriously,
anyway.
yeah, that's a good analogy. I like that. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Henry VIII comes out and actually is called Defender of the Faith by the Catholic Church because he dunks on Martin Luther, the guy that leads the schism. But then he wants to divorce his wife, but his wife is related to the Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, and the Pope is needing to patch up relations with the Holy Roman Emperor. And so the Pope goes, no, you can't have it, purely for political reasons. So now he's like, oh, I like Martin Luther now, and changes sides, but makes himself. It's effectively, Anglicanism started as Henry VIII being the Pope instead of the Pope himself.
Yeah.
But then over time, people came in and reformed it to make it much less Catholic. But
But those lines kind of drew socioeconomic lines as well, is what I'm saying.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, because I didn't grow up in Christianity. Like, my understanding of the schism was very Marxist in itself. Tell me what you think about this.
Yeah, I'm keen to hear.
So the idea is that the schism had very little to do with marriage or divorce, but Henry VIII and England had gotten powerful enough and economically powerful enough where they wanted to move the center of authority from the Catholic Pope to England. And so this entire thing was just a rebalancing of the power.
I don't know, because because Henry VII came on to the throne one generation before. So the claim that, like, the dynastic claim for the Tudors was quite weak because he's only one generation down from his dad. So he really did need to have, like, people go, oh, he just wanted to, like, he didn't want to remarry for love. He wanted to remarry to try and have a son because his first wife just wasn't giving him a son.
Right.
He had plenty of side goals. This was not a pursuit of love. It was to get a legitimate male heir to the throne so he could secure the dynastic. That's how I've always interpreted. So there is certainly a power element. I mean, Henry VIII is not particularly devout religious king in terms of how I understand him. And then, but the peasants stayed largely Catholic until Bloody Mary came along and started burning Protestant bishops. And then they're like, oh, we don't really like that either. And
obviously in Australia, the first settlers would have been Anglican, Protestant, and then like the workforce would have been Catholic. So you would have seen this division, just for that reason.
It's funny, religion and politics are like.
But was there like you know how there was anti-Catholic bias in the U.S. where when JFK became the president, it was like, can a Catholic? It was almost like a black person becoming the president. And obviously there was a lot of discrimination against Irish as well. Their history is like they almost put them on the same pedestal as black people, which, is they were obviously slaves at the time. So is there parallel to that in Australia as well?
To an extent. So the first Catholic prime minister we had was James Scullin, who came in literally like 4 days before the stock market crash in 1929.
That's not good.
The Catholics, they come in and ruin the economy.
He got screwed over so hard. No. So
this Catholic bashing.
So he came in 1929, and that was it was a big thing to have a Catholic prime minister. But like Ned Kelly's family was Irish Catholic, and by that point they were folklore in Victoria.
But Ned Kelly,
he wasn't devout, but
no, he wasn't. But like, I think he was Catholic. Him being Catholic just helped the folklore in itself because it was more relatable. But Ned Kelly couldn't have been in a position of power.
No, sorry, but in terms of, you're right, not in a position of power, but in terms of the societal attitudes at the time, because he was a hero, there wasn't the same cultural hysteria against Catholics as there was in America. From a position of power, probably. I'm trying to think, because it was just forever until Labor got in, just the first generation of state politicians would have all been Protestant. or atheist. Like in Australia, you could actually be an atheist prime minister, no worries. Whereas
I also maybe like the imbalance was like I'd imagine there would be a lot more Catholics than there were Anglicans in Australia, right?
Oh, maybe in Melbourne. But everywhere else, I probably still lean towards Anglican or just non-church. Like, Australia was just way more mellow on the issue because America had like religious pilgrims, religious refugees that came. I don't know. It's an interesting stat. I think it was in 1770 even. There were less less people going to church per proportion of the population than today.
That's really interesting because you would imagine that the lower socioeconomic background that you come from, the more religious you would be.
Yeah,
but
maybe the socialist movement absorbed a lot of that religious impulse, that religious energy into.
Oh wow, interesting.
I don't know. I'm just speculating here.
Yeah, that's.
But we're not Australia. Like we have this. I think we have this idea that Australia used to be super religious, and then we just kind of moved into its secularism. I think it's more of a after World War II, mass increase in church going for pretty obvious reasons. Obviously, 80s mass exodus from churches. And so I think, I think the pattern of Christianity it just ebbs and flows. And actually, it seems like, I know, Gen Z, it's the first generation where more men are going to church than women.
Really?
And there's actually, I think, I could be wrong. I think since COVID, there has been a spike in youth church, 18 to 34 church attendance. So it could be coming back for another wave again.
Those Gen Zers are wacky. They're not drinking either.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is actually a good thing.
Is that like a social confidence thing of just like can't go outside? So
no, it's economic, man.
Economic,
a beer's like $10 now.
Maybe
I think
I'm wrong,
mainly
but like,
economic.
don't you think like beers or just booze is a social
maybe.
drug?
Yeah, it is.
And
but
I think Gen Z is
maybe
not
you're
that
right.
into social
maybe
activities.
it is that. Maybe it is that.
Yeah.
They're more
But
into
there is-
like chilling at home gaming,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
means that
maybe.
they
So
probably
maybe it's like go actually have a beer.
yeah, they probably like smoke weed more. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
I think they are drinking maybe at home. They're just not going to pubs. Pubs are a rip.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Even
Yeah.
at the even like.
But
even
it
at
is
the
like
cricket
quite
and
interesting that there's more Gen Z, like religion is actually increasing in that sense, or belief in religion is increasing.
stuff. Yeah, totally.
Because there was a belief like not that long ago that, you know, we're eventually everyone's going to be like completely secular or atheist.
yeah.
But it seems to be going in the other direction.
I mean, even like going back to like the political sphere, like with Obama, I was playing like Guitar Hero at the time, so I wasn't really cognizant of what was going on. But my understanding is that when Obama was elected in 2008, it was like, it's going to be 40 years of Democrats now. Like there's like, Bush was just so rotten at that time. And even like this crazy, there's like nostalgia on the left, there's nostalgia for George Bush now. I'm seeing heaps of pro George Bush reels from left pages.
Yeah.
There was a concept called the Blue Wall. This is Obama's second term.
Yeah.
Where the idea was, this was, by the way, the conventional wisdom, where the population demographics are changing in such a way that Republicans will no longer be able to ever get elected.
Yeah.
So the idea was that now you're just going to see a dictatorship of the Democrats.
Right.
Because every year there's more Mexicans coming in, and as older people die, more and more are becoming Democrats. So there's no way that the Republicans can ever come into power.
Yeah.
But obviously that calculus
changed.
changed. Yeah,
I mean,
that's
Steve
changed
Bannon,
completely.
I'm in awe of Steve Bannon for how he could capture a youth, and I was one of them, like how he could capture a movement so effectively to completely turn the tide based off nothing of substance. It's all just like imaginary. Again, like the grievances, they're not grievances that fell out of a vacuum, but I am speaking from my personal experiences. He could capture emotion that was like, I find X person annoying, therefore Second Amendment is awesome, Trump is awesome. Like Trump's gonna say, like, I was never that into Trump particularly. I was more the Ben Shapiro, like I was more like the Ted Cruz is cool, which that's so lame now that I think about it.
You're crazy, dude.
Yeah. That's how. But
yeah, at the time, I remember Steve Bannon, like 2016, I first found out about Breitbart. 2015, I found out about Breitbart. And, you know, I was so into like the whole left-wing SJW stuff that I just sort of despised the man for what I thought he represented, which, I don't know, I guess I thought was white nationalist or something. He is, like, obviously there's a bit of that in him. But man, there's a lot of things that I agree with Steve Bannon on that I look at it. And it's not like, they're not right-wing issues that I've changed. They're actually bipartisan issues. Like, for example,
is it like
the corporate
anti-tech, the anti-tech stuff? The
anti-tech, but like just the idea that corporations have a complete stranglehold of your political process is something that, like, you know, Steve Bannon is against, and so am I.
Yeah,
like
that's fine.
That's a great middle ground.
So is Bernie, you know.
Yeah, and so is Bernie. So like, I think Steve Bannon, some of his views are actually quite bipartisan. In some sense.
Which is the thing. I think the thing I respect about Steve Bannon, Tucker Carlson, I'll throw in there as well. They have a desire to shape the Republican Party. They're not just talking heads that have been shaped by the Republican Party. And even like, I don't know, Tucker Carlson made the argument of like, young people need to be able to buy homes in America because if they can't buy a home, then they won't have any sense of nationalism because they have no ownership and stake in the country. I'm like, yeah, like that. That's
absolutely.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And what left-wing person is going to disagree with that?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, like Tucker's, he's been swinging a lot, and he's, for me, at least the bits that I'm seeing, he's connected more with the ball than he's missing in terms of.
Man, what an incredible evolution Tucker has had as well.
Yeah, I mean, getting let go from Fox News, but even before then, wasn't he? Because he was like the Iraq War's biggest cheerleader, wasn't he?
Bro, not only was he the Iraq War's biggest cheerleader, there was a time, and this is even before my time. So this is videos that I saw later on in YouTube. Tucker Carlson used to be just a complete right-wing hack who it almost felt like didn't even believe in a lot of the stuff that he said. He was just like opposite of what he is now. Just like
with such conviction now. Like
picked a team and just he used to have a show on Fox News, which was which was like a right-wing dude versus a Fox News version of a left-wing guy. And the show was that every night they would come on and they would pick an issue and they would start debating each other from, I almost felt like what they think their gangs feel about it.
Yeah, really.
But he went from that to like what he is now, which is like, you know, he is no hack at this point. He is a man. He is an individual through and through.
I would not be surprised if he's a presidential nominee down the track.
Crazy.
I think
could do it.
if he can, he might sit this next round out and just try and let the waters calm a little bit before he does anything. But I thought his career was done when he got canned at Fox News. It was like Fox News made Tucker Carlson. But I've been proven so wrong on that. His podcast. I've listened to multiple episodes of his podcast, and I'm like, this is phenomenal. That Ted Cruz one was he thought so hard about how he could catch Ted Cruz out, and he got him completely, like hook, line, and sinker. I would not have ever thought that I would have been like on that Tucker Carlson train.
Again, like Bannon, he has some points that are kind of bipartisan, right?
Dude, well, I mean, Tucker Carlson now acknowledges. I saw on his podcast he got Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks on.
Yes,
if you saw that.
No, I haven't seen
Dude,
that.
Cenk Uygur is possibly, you know, he is
left.
The Young Turks was like one of the first channels on YouTube, and he was super left wing. But if you listen to that conversation, you would seem like these people agree on 90% of the things.
Yeah,
right. Isn't that wow?
It was because my politics could probably be best explained as Young Turks meltdown compilations. Like that was pretty much explained like what I thought of American politics. So I was like super anti Cenk for so long. I'm like, oh, that's the guy that just crashes out on every like Piers Morgan thing he goes on. But he's made a real effort to try and build a coalition with Anna Kasparian as well.
Yeah.
And I've been like really impressed with both him and Tucker, that conversation. And even like Cenk was like, oh, I'd obviously disagree with the way that you analyzed that. And Tucker was like, of course you would. So I feel like, where's this conversation? I know this is not a very profound point. Like, where's the unity and all this disunity? But particularly in the last 2 weeks, like, this is actually the first time someone from right and left has sat across from each other and broken a peace treaty since Charlie Kirk. I don't know.
I
think it's also because like both Tucker doesn't have, he's not part of the Fox News machine.
Yeah.
So there's no like institutional views that he
Like
must
a Hannity
have. They're both
like Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
We'll do it live.
Bill O'Reilly. I thought maybe Tucker Carlson would have the same fate as Bill O'Reilly, because Bill O'Reilly used to be a Fox News juggernaut and then he was kicked out for, I think, masturbating over the phone.
The final word.
Doesn't he have? He has his YouTube channel with like without all of his makeup. It's kind of like,
but I can't watch
the magic's gone now.
I can't watch his channel because like I don't know if I used to watch Bill O'Reilly when I was a kid, and now his voice is broken because he's an old man, and
he's that old school. Yeah,
it's fine, but like man, it just makes me so sad
because he couldn't get his teleprompter right at all. Yeah. But he nails that first take. Like, the guy's got talent. Like he's
he gets it. He gets it.
He's a good performer.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, he would back in the day. He was the top. He was at the top. You know the Colbert Report? That was all based on Bill O'Reilly.
Really?
Right.
Bill O'Reilly used to be the #1 political host for Fox News for the conservatives.
Yeah, because I remember, I basically grew up on Family Guy, and like Seth MacFarlane was basically like your more corporate Democrat type, and so like Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, these were all guys that I like knew at like 11 because they were on Family Guy. So I got, like the fact they got that much exposure. I remember like Bill O'Reilly and Jon Stewart would they had a debate that went really big or something like that.
Yeah, they had a love and hate relationship.
Yeah, that's right.
But they both respected each other, actually. And I think still do. Which is why Jon Stewart gets Bill O'Reilly on his show even now.
Yeah,
no one cares about
really,
Bill.
even
That's
after
true. That's true.
He recently had, because they both respected, funnily enough, Tucker Carlson and Jon Stewart had, Jon Stewart almost finished Tucker's career.
I've only heard that referenced in interviews where like they asked Tucker about it.
Because he did the same. Jon Stewart just went on him. And you know how I talked about they had a show where like he would play the right-wing character and like this other dude would play. So Jon Stewart just went on. It's like, you guys are hacks. Like, you don't even believe in any of this. Just say what you want. You don't have to have like this tennis match all the time. It's fake tennis match. And then he like started making fun of Tucker Carlson. I was like, you're wearing a bow tie. You're in your 30s. What's wrong with you? Like you're a man in your 30s and you're wearing a bow tie. And Tucker Carlson just like was completely gobsmacked. He was young too at the time. And he was completely gobsmacked. And he kind of, the criticism was right. But then to his credit, he sort of changed.
Yeah.
You know, he learned a lot. But yeah, there was a time when Jon Stewart basically like almost killed Tucker Carlson's character.
Yeah,
Like,
wow.
Just Tucker Carlson was, people discredited him until he made a comeback.
Was Jon Stewart as good as what they? I've only heard myths about Jon Stewart. All I saw of him was John Oliver's gun thing in Australia. He talks to John Howard, where Jon Stewart sends him out.
Jon Stewart. Well, okay, so you could. That's in it. Jon Stewart was the first one to do what everyone's doing now. So just in it, that in itself was groundbreaking. The idea that you could do jokes about news the way he was doing it, that in itself, when you create a trend, you become immortal.
Yeah.
Because you in
What about what's his name though? The other one.
Colbert.
No.
Seth Meyers, Trevor Noah, John Oliver. There's
No, none of them. You know, the old Jewish guy, Jesus.
Seinfeld.
The Daily Report. No. Jesus. It'll come to me.
Larry King.
No. The new rule guy.
Bill Maher.
Yeah, Bill Maher. He had a hand in that.
Bill Maher did not. So Bill Maher had a show called Politically Incorrect, which was essentially a talk show. It was a chat show where they had. It was this.
Yeah.
You would get like a bunch of people, and then like you would come up with like some view that might not be. So that was, but like Jon Stewart made like a full on like the whole idea that like he would show the hypocrisy of the politicians, where there'd be like a screen within a screen, and he would do the whole format was, he invented it.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievable, and it was so effective that the whole thing of all young people becoming Democrats, the blue wall. Jon Stewart had a huge part to play in that.
Yeah, that's
where he convinced the younger generation Republicans, where being a Republican was not cool, being a Democrat was cooler. To the point where Bill O'Reilly did I remember the show. He did a show where he called. He said the death of conservatism, where like we have lost the culture.
Really?
wars.
That Bill O'Reilly even considered
Bill
that?
O'Reilly
Wow.
at one point said, "We have lost the culture wars." Little did he know that they're about to make a comeback, and it's going to be bigger than ever.
Jesus.
But he said that we have lost.
I want to go back to that time of life, man. Like just like. Not that I was, I don't know, I was playing cricket 07, but like, not that I was really active.
It was a good time, man.
It just is, it seems so much
It was a good
more
time.
mellow and peaceful.
It was less political.
Yeah.
Like the only people that were into politics were like, nerds that were like most of the people didn't care.
Yeah.
And you would actually have to fight for attention.
Yeah,
for this sort of stuff. Like if you talked about politics, like most people wouldn't be interested. You had to talk about like entertainment and stuff. But now obviously it's completely different, where like political influencers are the biggest celebrities.
Yeah. I reckon like when I taught at school, everyone knew Charlie Kirk. So I kept getting, it was like, always asked, so what do you think of Andrew Tate? What do you think,
Man.
what do you think
How
of
long ago was this? Like, when did you...
from COVID up until last year. So
and was that a school down there?
Yeah. I was trying to think like who is there that's on the left that has really garnered the youth now. I'm trying to think of like this like rock star figure amongst the left.
Is John Stewart still around? But he was away for a long time.
Yeah, and he's back, but like not with any.
But like even him going away. So he went away because he kind of got bored of it, and he started making. He wanted to go into direction, and he made a movie, which I think was a shit movie, but. So he left it. He left the talk show in 2016 during the Trump campaign before everyone knew he was going to be the president. But what that has enabled, and Jordan and I talk about this all the time, what that did was that from the years 2016 up until like 2020, 2022, because he wasn't in the spotlight and he wasn't doing shows about Trump, he's actually built this incredible credibility now.
Yeah. So no one's fatigued with it.
Because everyone got discredited in that period. Yeah. Anyone that was on the left, so like all your Trevor Noahs, anyone that was, even Stephen Colbert, who, by the way, was a really popular guy back in the day, they just got discredited because like they just saw them criticizing Trump as maybe ideological as opposed to based on practicality, and they made. But anyways, Jon Stewart did not experience that. So Jon Stewart still is a very respectable guy, which is why both Jordan and I think he's a great candidate for Democrats for the president.
Yeah. Because I remember, like, didn't he was instrumental in like the 9/11 Victims Fund, where I remember him like praising Donald Trump. He was like, the Trump administration's been really good.
Right.
Obviously Trump being in New York, and that would make sense. So yeah, I mean, in terms of like at least being a figurehead.
He has less scorn than your like Jimmy Kimmel's and your
because he wasn't there on TV during that very critical period.
Because I actually used to, before I went down the rabbit hole, I used to really love John Oliver. I was a fan of Community, and he was in that TV show. I was like, I'll watch his thing, and you go back and it was pretty original. Like it was Jon Stewart's guy. Like he was trained by Jon Stewart. I actually think he had pretty good comedic ability back then. And then it was just drumph. And obviously for me, with that ideological resistance to it as well.
Everyone fell for that trap. I think that's what happened. I think in hindsight, we could look at it and it was like everyone it just felt like a watershed moment where some guy has come on who was like completely reprehensible. And everyone let their emotions take a hold of them.
Yeah, yes.
No, I'm not saying that whatever he did was right, but like way everyone criticized him just discredited them. Like they should have move their emotions and sort of talk to substance. I think if they had done that, it's easier said than done. Like at the time, the whole world was in a meltdown. But if they had done that, I don't think they would have been in this situation today where like all of them are just getting canceled.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like any that, no, I really can't think of anyone that was at least Democratic aligned that really did walk away with like their career in a better place than where it was in 2016.
That's a good point.
Yeah, probably played a blinder there of just walking out. I mean, not by design, but walking out and then coming back into the arena. Yeah. And like the world is now like crying. I don't know, at least the things that I see, people are crying out to go back to normality again.
Yeah.
And like there's nostalgia for George Bush. There's just nostalgia for simpler times.
Yeah.
Where he can be emblematic.
And I think his time away actually served him good in the sense where he wasn't in that ecosystem, that Hollywood ecosystem the whole time.
Oh, that was
so he managed to have some opinions that were different from the mainstream. One of them, for example, was he believed COVID was lab leak.
Yes,
which I personally don't. Even though I personally don't believe in it, but that was something that like your mainstream Hollywood guys would never have. Yeah, he had that position. Yeah, I think another one like Joe Biden's too old.
Yeah.
Like he said that from the get-go. Yeah. Whereas like, again, if you're in the corporate, that one I agree with. But like if you were in that like, late night or that New York, LA kind of clique, you would not have come up with that opinion. So his time away also served him good. True. Where he was able to have some independent thinking as well.
Yeah. That era of Hollywood was, that. I remember it was like, was it Brad Pitt who won an Oscar or something like that? Is like, they've given me 59 seconds to speak, which is more than they gave John Bolton at a Senate. I'm like, come on, we don't need, like, why do you need to do that?
I don't even know. John Bolton?
He's a US general, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
So what was he?
I don't know.
He was just some Hollywood point about like what some.
John Bolton's just a crackpot.
Right.
I've heard he's super hawkish. I don't really know much about him at all.
Oh, dude, he is insane. He's he will find.
Who the fuck is he?
He just wants to go to war with everyone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he does look like he is a man who walks around with a hammer looking for nails.
Jesus.
For him, he just wants a war every single time. Trump actually had a great thing about him. I don't know. I think he was on Joe Rogan when he said that. he's like, John Bolton, he's a crazy man. But you know why I have him? I would take him with me to Iran only because it scares the fuck out of everyone else.
What? And what Brad Pitt was like, let the man speak.
Because I think
was he?
Because he turned against opposed Trump on, was it withdrawal from Syria or something like that?
Because he's an insane man. So Trump was like, get the fuck out of here eventually.
But then he wanted to speak out against Trump and got obstructed for some reason. And so like Brad Pitt picks up that moral crusade to fight, and I'm like, oh.
How did he go over my radar? Damn.
Yeah.
I'll fight for you, John. Whoever
John
you
Bolton
are.
is like a very good example of everything that is wrong with America. It's just like constantly finding
Googling
useless battles to fight that drain their economy over like these weird ideas like spreading democracy or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was George Bush's like main guy.
Yeah, so he's
he was the guy behind like was very in support of Iraq War.
Didn't Trump like kick him out?
Yeah, he did.
I think that might have been what Brad Pitt was
Because
getting
that guy goes on like MSNBC now. It's like Trump's a dictator. This guy.
Yeah, dude. Like I would pick
Like,
Trump
seeing him-
over this guy any day of the week, and I hate Trump.
You know what's-
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? When I saw pictures of this guy, I'm like, here we go, another typical Democrat backbencher. That's who I thought. That's who I thought he was. That's fucking hilarious.
Well, yeah, he
strange. America is a strange place. There's something.
His political faction is the most dangerous political faction in the U.S.
What is it? Just like Bush era?
Yeah,
yeah, right.
It was this faction was responsible for all the bad decisions that Bush took.
Was that the blue, is that same as the blue team? Like if you I don't know Bush's, so the blue team, I think it was more China based. So blue team was heavily anti-China. It was basically pretty much this like pro-Taiwan, anti-PRC faction within. I think it was might have been Bush's administration, but
around Bush's time, because China hadn't grown nearly as much as it has now, there was always a level of tolerance towards China.
Yeah, well, because I remember when I did a couple of videos on like the president's attitudes towards China, and it was an interesting pattern. It was so H.W. Bush came in and he was like, Tiananmen Square can't, like that was a thing that obviously that was a terrible thing that happened. We're going to take tough action. Didn't do anything. Bill Clinton comes in, we're going to take tough action. Didn't, and George W. Bush did the same thing. We're going to take tough action. Didn't do anything. It was Obama that came in, was like, we're not going to take tough action, and then started to create a bit more tension with Hu Jintao at the time.
Yeah, well, they never meant it when they said we were going to take tough actions. They would not take.
Right.
In fact, like at the height of like the Cold War, they completely sided with China, which was under Mao.
Yeah, yeah.
So the guy responsible for Cultural Revolution and atrocities way worse than Tiananmen Square. Nixon went and shook his hand and said like, you're on our team now.
Yeah.
So Cold War had its own dynamics, and Bush essentially would say things like that, but never meant it.
Yeah. I mean, like,